What is good, YouTube? It's your boy OG Nonboy back with another video, and in today's video I'm going to be showcasing what I believe to be is the strongest team in the Element Cup remix here, and this team consists of Dupiter, the Vulpix, and Slugma. And just a note about the Vulpix, if you do have the Shadow Vulpix, I would recommend running that over the normal one, as it does hit a lot harder and you can secure some matchups that you otherwise wouldn't if you had the regular Vulpix. But that aside, these three Pokemon on their own are very strong. Like the Dupiter doesn't really have a lot of hard checks, and the Slugma is one of the only checks to a Dupiter, as it can do super effective with the rock throws, and it's also good against other fire types like the Vulpix that are pretty common in this cup. And the Vulpix itself is very spammy with the Quick Attack, Body Slam, and Weather Ball combo. So in conjunction, these three really make a strong team. And yeah, I was able to gain 200 ELO in 4 sets with an 80% win rate. So without further ado, let's get into these matches here. So first match, we have the Dupiter into Seal. So this is a pretty good matchup for our Dupiter, as they are only able to throw resisted moves with the Aqua Tails or the Icy Winds. So they swap out into their Dupiter, and we're going to swap in our Slugma. And I'm not going to shield the move here, since I know that most likely, like, I've seen this team around quite a bit, even just within my first few sets playing in the Element Cup, and this team is the Seal in the lead with the Dupiter swap and a fire type in the back. So it's not so imperative that I win switchback here, since I'm going to bring my Dupiter in and get a farm down on their Dupiter, and I can tank whatever move this is, and I'm going to have a Bubble Beam ready for either their Seal or the fire type if it decides to come in. And we are a shield up, so this puts us in a pretty favorable position. We're going to get the Bubble Beam off on their Vulpix, and since we are a shield up, we should be able to handle both the Vulpix and the Seal. So the Quick Attack is very good at generating energy quickly, so we're going to save the shields for the Seal, since the Aqua Tails are definitely a lot more threatening than a debuffed Body Slam from the opposing Vulpix. So I'm going to go ahead and throw off this Body Slam, and this grabs our last shield, and I'm going to shield this, and I'm going to make sure to overfarm too before I throw my last Body Slam, just so I have enough energy to reach another Body Slam quickly against the opposing Vulpix in the back. So we're going to be able to throw this Body Slam at the Vulpix, and as you're going to see here, this Body Slam doesn't actually quite KO, which is why I would recommend the Shadow Vulpix over the regular one, just because it does hit a little harder and you're able to take out opposing Pokemon a little bit more easily. But we still have our Dupiter in the back and we're able to farm them down. So very close game, but GG's to the opponent here. So next match, we're met with a pretty good lead for us, as we're going to be able to resist the Mud Shots, and the Body Slams, even though they get to them pretty quickly, don't hurt too bad on the tanky-ish Dupiter. So now we're going to debuff them with the Bubble Beam, and this does some good neutral damage, even though it doesn't do a whole ton, but they actually elect to shield it, which works out in our favor. And they swap out into a Vulpix, so I'm going to throw this Bubble Beam to debuff them before switching into my Slugma here. So now I should be able to farm them all the way down and tank a Body Slam pretty comfortably. And now our health is going to be pretty low for the Wooper, which I suspect will come back in after this. So they're not going to get too big a farm on our Slugma, but they actually decide to throw, fearing we would get to the Rock Slide. And now we're just going to bring our Dupiter back in. They're pretty close to 2 Body Slams, so I'm likely going to have to shield once here. So I'm going to shield this first Body Slam, and they're going to be at another one quite soon here. So I'm going to let this one go, because I want to save the last shield for my Vulpix in the back here. So they bring in an Execute, and now we should be okay, since we should be able to get to 2 Weather Balls before they're able to threaten us. And we still have our shield left, so these confusion damages, or this confusion damage rather, is doing quite a lot to our Vulpix, but we are able to reach our last Weather Ball here, and this should take out the Execute. And then after that, we will be able to farm down the Wooper. So that is a solid game for us. GG's to the opponent. And then next match here, we have a Dupiter into Slowpoke, and this is a pretty good matchup for us since we are doing super effective damage with the fast move, but they swap in the Oddish. And this is a little bit scary just because Oddish is kind of busted, and especially the Shadow version, since it can win switch against a Vulpix if it decides to double shield and farm you all the way down. So thankfully for us, the opponent actually lets that go, and then we're able to get a body slam off on this Slowpoke here. So we should be able to come in here and just farm them all the way down. I will respect the psychic damage here and shield once, and we will be able to farm them all the way down. So we get a nice little energy lead here, and they have a Leap in the back. So really nice pick by the opponent, but we are just going to spam these bubble beams off, and this will debuff the Leap quite a bit. So after 2 bubble beams, I'm going to be feeling pretty comfortable here since we should be able to tank a move on our Slugma and get them pretty low, if not farm them all the way down with our rock throws here. So gonna go ahead and bring in the Slugma and do exactly just that. So we're able to take them out with a simul KO, but we still have our Dupiter in the back, so we end up winning that match there. GG's to the opponent. And then next match here, we have the Slugma lead, which isn't that great for a Dupiter, but I make a little bit of a mistake here by bringing my Slugma in without damaging them first a little bit, and since they are a turn ahead, they're able to farm us down all the way before we can farm them down. But they actually bring in a Bulbasaur, which isn't too bad for our Dupiter, as we are only going to take neutral damage from the fast and charge moves here. So I'm going to go for the Mirror Coat, which would just about take out the Bulbasaur if they let it go, since they are part poison type, and they decided to shield that. So I'm just going to go ahead and let my Dupiter go and have faith in the spammy Vulpix in the back up a shield. So they actually are running double grass, so this works out perfectly for us since our Vulpix here should be able to outspam both the Fomantis here, or what's the, yeah, it's a Fomantis and the Bulbasaur here. So the opponent concedes the match and we take that one. So GG's to them, and I believe this is the final match. We have the Dupiter Mirror, and I like to go just straight Bubble Beam here, no need to build up to the Mirror Coat, as you will be doing like more damage over time as you stay in here, or they'll be doing less damage to you as you debuff them. So even though after this Mirror Coat they're gonna put my health lower than theirs, if we stay in here, we should have an okay time. But we swap into our Slugma here since we are an ABB team, and they swap in their Litwick, and that looks like a pretty bad misplay by the opponent, which it was at the time, but I figured that they actually thought that I was swapping in a Vulpix, as a Vulpix is a very common safe swap, like in this cup. So the Litwick definitely does really well against the Vulpix. So we got a little bit lucky there, but they bring in a Seal, and we should be able to get a Bubble Beam off and debuff them before they farm us all the way down. And the Vulpix is super spammy, so we should be able to get to a bunch of body slams and take out the Seal and this Dupiter here. So I know I can comfortably tank one of these Bubble Beams, so I'm going to go ahead and do that and farm all the way down. And after I do that, I'm going to have almost 3 body slams locked and loaded here, so I'm just going to start unloading these onto the Seal, and we should be able to take them out before they're able to farm us all the way down. So pretty lucky game for us, to be honest, as they did swap in the Litwick to our Slugma, but that's the way she goes sometimes, you know. So overall, some pretty solid battles, and this team definitely performed very well for me, even in the long run. So the 4 sets again that I played, I had an 80% win rate and was able to gain almost 200 ELO with this team. So I definitely would recommend that you give this a try if you're looking to climb ELO. And I also had a friend actually that I recommended this team to before posting this video, and they were able to go from 2880 to hitting legend in a matter of 3 sets. So yeah, definitely highly recommend this team. Like, if you're looking to climb ELO, like, please, I urge you to try this team, and you should have a pretty nice time climbing. So that's all for today's video. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and also submit your battles in the link in the description below, and I'll see you in the next one.